This deer is definitely using this pretty good. I've been keeping up with him for about a year. I even scouted this a lot during the summer, and I've just been keeping up this buck. My dad actually found his shed too not long ago after I told him where this buck was at. I've been really watching him. Good Lord willing, I hope I can get him. This is a shed my dad found. Great mountain buck. I told him where this buck was at. I'd found him back in the winter, and I'd found some great sign he'd been making. And I'd actually found that area a couple summers ago doing some summer scouting. And you know, he went back in there, I think it was late September, doing some scouting and bow hunting, and he found this shed. He also found this deer's bed probably about 30 yards from the shed. Found a few small saplings horned. But I went there, I think it was November the 17th that morning, and it was my first time being in there. And I sat down, and within 2 hours, a great, I think it was either a 3.5-year-old buck or 2.5-year-old came out. It was a great buck. It was either a 9 or 10 pointer. I tried shooting it. My gun would not go off. I still do not understand what happened. I had to watch that deer walk off. I came back to the house as soon as he left, checked for any debris in my gun, and I couldn't find any debris in it. So the first time I tried to shoot it, it shoots. It just wasn't, the good Lord just didn't intend for me to have that deer. I kept hunting that deer. All I seen was black bears in the spot and a few does. But I didn't let that get me down. I kept hunting really hard. It was really discouraging when that happened, but I just kept hunting hard. And about a week or so later, I harvested a great buck. It's November the 27th. It's almost 2 o'clock. It's starting to get windy, so I'm gonna head on out of here. I got to see a young buck and some does. Yeah, they're starting to rut pretty good here in the mountains. So I'm hoping, hopefully tomorrow, I'll be able to see a good one. God answer my prayers today. It's a beautiful mountain buck. Very blessed and happy that I got him today. I've been really sick. I'm just getting my voice back. Been hunting really hard, and like yesterday we done a really big walk, and I think we walked 10 miles yesterday. It was 5 miles in, 5 miles out, and in a good spot, and didn't do any good. Seen a young buck, and this morning we come to a really remote spot. I did, and my dad sat a mountain over from me across the creek, and he's coming over here in a minute, and this buck came out. We're in a really remote area. It's gorgeous back here, and it's really rough terrain back in here. They don't get any pressure. I just love hunting these big woods mountain bucks. There's absolutely nothing like it. It's just a big passion of mine. I love doing it. When I shot this buck, it came from a direction that I did not expect it to come. When I shot, I didn't even realize it that I'd hit a limb because it blurted out through my scope. I just wanted to remind everyone to be really careful and double check when you're shooting because you could always hit a limb and it could completely mess up your shot. Thankfully, it didn't mess up my shot and I hit the deer exactly where I wanted it to. The following day after I took that buck, I took my dad to a new spot I'd found last year that I'd harvested both my big deer from last year in. And within 30 minutes of being there, I seen a small buck and my dad managed to tag a really nice buck. I seen 4 to 6 different deer during the whole month of December. It was pretty tough, but I did get to see some young bucks and I got some great footage as well, including this one, which I grunted up in mid-December. This is a pretty big rub, a big mountain buck's making, but what I wanted to show is how you can tell when they're really big when horning some of these trees is he has horned this one, but this one is way over here and I can see where his tines on his other side of his rack has hit this other bush. And I mean, that is literally that far apart. So it's got to be a big buck to be horning this and then get this one accidentally. I mean, that's got to be a really big buck. So when I'm looking at sign, trying to read sign, you know, when I see stuff like this, it just proves to me that it's a giant when it's doing stuff like that. I just started guiding this past season, and I guide for whitetail deer, black bears, and wild hogs in the mountains in North Georgia. The best way to get in contact with me is through Facebook on my Facebook page, Adams Appalachian Adventures, if you would like to go with me, and also on my Instagram page, Hunting and Fishing in God's Country.